Hi, Julie. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator. How are you today? I like to explain to my first timers just a quick little spiel that I see, hear, feel, sense, know. They talk to me, but they also show me pictures, and I describe the picture that they show the best way I can. There's always a reason for anything they say. They usually don't give details, they give just enough information because the details are none of my business or anybody else's. They usually just give enough so you understand what they're talking about. This is not an exact science. So sometimes you got to stretch it out of the box a little bit. If he says names, I stink at names. I don't know why. I used to get them exact. I don't get them exact anymore. Usually, probably the more I say it, the worse it gets. So anyway, and they tell us what we need to know, not always what we want to know. And I can't make them answer every single question, but it's their show. It's their ball game. I just let them say whatever they feel like they need to say. And since this is local, and I do know a lot of the people, I have asked him to make sure that he brings through some information that I could not possibly know. Especially since it's so publicized and everything. So that's up to him. I can't make him, but he needs to give at least a couple of things so that you know for sure that it's him and not something I could have picked up out of the newspaper or something. So I'm going to talk to Jason. Okay. He comes what I would call kind of sauntering in, kind of a little bit of a sway to his walk, and then he's standing there holding his guitar like he's performing. And I have seen him perform a couple times, but it's been quite some time ago. But he's jumping up with both feet, like 3 or 4 times, jumping up in the air while he's playing. It's just jump. See if I can describe it correctly. Jumping up in place 3 or 4 times. He's loving it, of course. We know that. He's 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 playing his guitar. He's got his cowboy hat on, but as he's playing, he bends his head down and he looks to whoever plays on his right. And he's got his head down, but he's looking at them. So he's making a big point of this. And I don't know who plays on his right. He's worried about that person. Not that he's not worried about the other ones, but it's like he's keeping his eye on him. Now he's talking about he's still playing his guitar. He's got an older man with him. I don't know if this is a father or a grandfather. He's got an old, did one of them, wait a minute, I don't think it's going to say play the guitar. And let me see what he's going to show. One of them play drums, play a musical instrument, instrument that he would be in a band with Jason now. He's shown that he's met up with him. I can't see him that well. He's shorter. He's not a real tall man. elderly. I feel almost more like it's a grandfather or a grandfather type figure. Sometimes your neighbor can feel more like your grandfather than your grandfather that lived across the country, but I imagine probably your family's probably all around here. He's showing other people play. It's like he's playing in a band up there, like he played here, but he's not allowing me to see all the people. It's his show. Okay, so he's not showing the other people, but there are other people there with him. And we'll see if he shows them later. He's showing that he comes to your house. He's showing a set of work boots, and they're dirty. And you're going to hear, or you have heard, these boots. They're the big lace-up work boots. These aren't cowboy boots. And or you're going to find pieces of dirt off of them around the house. Even if you don't have his boots, that doesn't matter. He says you're also going to hear the strum of guitar. Not playing, just, like when you run your fingers across all the strings and it's just one strum. It will probably, I always say probably, be very light. You may not hear it with these ears, you may hear it with these ears. And believe me, you can hear up here. You may hear it in the store, you might hear it in your car, you might hear it in your house. It doesn't matter where you're at. When you hear it, it's just like that one strum. It'll probably be very faint. You might hear it as you're walking out of a room or into a room. When you get any of these signs, like the boots, kind of walking on the floor, or the strum, make sure you acknowledge him, tell him you love him, tell him you know that's him, and to bring you more signs. They get excited when they know that you catch on to the signs, and then they start bringing you more stuff once you get it. He says there's trouble behind these here eyes. He said it just like that. There's trouble behind these here eyes. Trouble of my own making. But why? I don't know that I'm prepared to say any more that he's saying. He says why? Why? Yeah, I would have to tell you the rest in private, I think. Then and there's not really that much more. And I actually need, let me write it down or I'll forget. So it's like as he's showing me things, I've seen some horrific deaths that they've shown me, so I've asked him not to show me those anymore, but as he's showing me some things, he's covering up his eyes. He doesn't want to see it. He's showing me, but he doesn't want to see it. Does that make sense? And he's hugging his oldest son. Now, when you're still in really deep grief, because it hasn't been that long, it's hard to feel it or see the signs or things like that. I don't know why, because it's like to me that's when I need it. But the grief almost puts up a wall where it's really hard to feel or see or hear some of this stuff. So it still may take a little bit, or maybe not. I don't know. That's just a possibility. So he hugs the oldest boy. So he will feel, if he's ready to accept it, this hug around him. And when that happens, and I don't know how each person is going to receive the energy, because everybody feels it different, everybody gets it different, but you could feel a pressure like around the shoulders where he's hugging around the shoulders. You could feel a full body warmth where he's up against him. Could feel like hot where the arms go around, because we don't have that physical body anymore, but it's their energy. Could feel it could feel like goosebumps along those spots. Or a lot of times, like when they get up close and hug you like that, it feels almost like a big balloon, like a big bubble bumping up against you. Usually there's a warmth, or goosebumps involved with it. He says he's cocked his head because he's heard me. He's heard me, but he thinks it's his imagination. He heard me say, "Hey, boy." And a lot of times it may not sound like words. It may just sound like muttering when they try to say the words. He's trying to say, "Hey, boy." Okay, there's another younger child. It's a girl. And he goes up and kind of ruffles her hair. I don't know how old his children are, but the youngest one, maybe the two youngest one, I don't know how old they are. Usually by the time kids get to be 9-ish, somewhere in there, then we kind of shut it down, and we don't, but small children and animals can see them and hear them and feel them. So the youngest one definitely will. I don't know how old this one is, but he's showing that the youngest one waves at him. So watch that child. Not that that's anything bad. You'll see that child acknowledging him. It's like they'll be staring at the wall, or they'll just be waving at nothing. They're not waving at nothing. I promise you. Okay, we'll see if he'll answer some of your questions. Okay. As far as helping one through this, he says somebody's got to convince him it is not his fault. It is not his fault. No part of this is his fault. Why would it be your fault? Okay. I don't know for sure what I can't. Okay, hang on. He's kicking something, and it looks like a horseshoe. It looks like a horseshoe, but it almost looks like it's attached to something, but I can't quite see what it's attached to. And he's going up and he's kicking it. It looks like we're outside. There's always a reason for what they show. So if you've got something outside, or somebody has something outside that has a horseshoe, it looks like a real horseshoe attached to it, Watch for it to move. He's already trying to leave you guys signs. He said, I'm leaving my mom the sweet smell of roses. So it's okay. So she will smell roses in Walmart, in her car, in the house, outside. Doesn't matter where it's at. Get that little whiff of roses, acknowledge him, tell him you know that's from him. He said, I'm not going to send her any spooky sounds. I want her to have something sweet. Okay, he's talking about putting up hay. Putting up hay. The smell of the hay. Putting up hay, the smell of the hay. He loved the smell of the fresh cut hay. So somebody knows that he said this before. He wasn't crazy about the sweating, but he loved just being around the smell of the fresh cut hay. Now he's wanting to sing a song about something being sweet. Let me see if I can hear the words. Something about a sweet smell. His energy is so strong that my body is actually vibrating. I mean, he's got me vibrating. Okay. He says you'll be able to feel this. It's pretty much in my lower arms right now. That's the strongest, and it just feels like it's going like this. Not my whole arm, not my whole body, just kind of in this area. It just kind of, you can't see it, you can feel it. So when you feel that, know that he is close. He said, all you need in life is a little hair of the dog. It'll get you going again. Because I know I was rowdy, too rowdy. He wants to apologize to his wife. He says basically, apologize to my family, but I'm not apologizing to the good old boys because they were in on it too. And he laughs hysterically. Comrades, comrades, partners in crime, he's calling them partners in crime. And it's like he's putting his arms up and putting it around several guys. He's not showing who. He says they know who they are. He says, so I will talk to you guys in music because that's what I loved. Okay. So here's how it usually works. You'll be driving down the road, you'll hear a song. You'll think, is that a song? Is that a message from him? He's going to talk through music more than anything. You will see a vehicle driving by like he used to drive at the same time. You might see his name on a poster or a billboard, or just, there'll be two things. There'll be the song and there'll be something that'll come along and validate it. So there'll be something else. So look around. If you're driving down the road and you hear a song, go, okay, is that a message from you? Look around and see what's out there that would validate. I'm getting goosebumps from my knees down on both legs. Take care of the nag. I don't mean my old lady. And thanks for clarifying that. Okay, who's got what looks like a blue healer? Darker, a darker blue healer. Oh, at least I'm guessing it's a blue healer. Something looks like a blue healer. He's showing one with really black ears. This dog sees him. It actually, well, okay, this dog sees him. Most of the time they get all excited. This one's kind of cowering his head down and kind of looking up at him and growling because it's not used to this type of energy. It's not used to seeing somebody like this. So this dog is a little unsure of what it's seeing, but it's seeing him. So whoever's got that dog, watch the dog. The dog will, well, dogs bark at anything anyway. And you guys probably, most of you live in the country, so they probably bark. Probably think they're barking at a rabbit going by or something. But he's showing the dog like right outside somebody's door, back door. And it's looking up and growling. So watch the dog doing that because know that that dog sees him. Okay. He says, I love you, Mom. You did the best you could with all this. He throws his arms out with all this. He's very lighthearted. He feels good. He's very, very strong where I'm feeling him that strong. Okay. I don't know why. Like I said, it's their show. I'll let him do whatever he wants. He's showing Patrick. He's showing Patrick. He goes up and puts his arm around Patrick. So let's see where we're going with this. Still got his cowboy hat on. He says, I found him. He's making me want to cry. I found him. I got my buddy. I found him. He's talking about Dennis. We're in a good place. Okay, he says, he says, if you think my music was good, you ought to hear the music I can hear up here. We'll be singing with the angels. Singing with the angels. Is there a song like that? He's telling somebody to write that song. Singing with the angels. He's telling the guys not to quit playing. He doesn't want them to quit playing. Give it a break, but don't quit. Broke a few guitars in my day. But they were still my babies. Okay, so he comes up behind me, and he's right here. He's got his cowboy hat on, and he leans his face right in here. Sometimes, like, okay, if you go take pictures at night, and sometimes you'll see orbs. I'm sure most people have heard about orbs. You don't see them with your naked eye, but you'll see them when you go back and look at a picture, or you'll see a big stream of light. And that's an orb moving. So this will be kind of the same thing. Can't see it with your naked eye, maybe like when I'm live, but you might be able to see a little bit of wavy lines, a little bit of every time they get that close, my head itches. He says, "Can she see me?" I said, I don't know. I don't know. Tell her I love her. And I'm getting that whole I usually don't get this. That's why I'm saying this, because you're going to get it. This whole kind of vibrating inside energy. Tell her I love her. Tell her not to be angry. Don't let it eat you up. Look at me now, singing with the angels. Now I'm getting like, yeah, as strong as he is, you'll feel him when he gets that close, because this is like, it's kind of like head lice. At least that's what the way they do to me. But there was a different one back here, so it's kind of like an itching, but there's really no reason for it to be itching. So know that that's him close. After a little bit of time, you'll know what these are. But he wants them point. Now he's touching me here, so it's this right here. So you're going to get that too, and he's going to pull. He's going to make a little pull on your hair, just like I did when we were little. He says we still have some secrets, you and him. And I'm not going to tell him now either. Somebody's got a pair of his cowboy boots, not just regular boots. Somebody's got a special pair of his cowboy boots. Yep, it's not saying anything. Okay, he's talking about a record that he made, and I haven't followed them that close, so I don't know if they've made a record. I think I saw where they had some songs out, I know. Getting it down here. A record that he made, he wants them to go ahead and push it. He's saying go on platinum. I don't know that it's going to go platinum, but he still wants it put out there. He wants it out there. He says, I'm kind of proud of myself. Kind of proud of myself. Know that I heard each and every one of you when you came to my room. Every single one of you, I heard you. And I even heard the ones out in the waiting room. And I love you all too. But it's okay. I'm okay. I've got my buds. He said he's going to give Dennis a tambourine. Yep. Nice pausing. Okay. We're not going to get full on into it, but all right, I'll say it. He just wants to say, how could you? He's not talking to you. How could you? Okay, now he's wildly playing the guitar, like jumping around and just really out there. Now, I might have seen a picture of him dressed like Kiss. I'm not sure if it was him or somebody else. I don't remember, but that's the kind of way he's playing. Like that wild rock and roll, jumping around, crazy, like, wow, kind of shit, you know? I said bad word. There's a slower song. I believe he had a hand in writing it, maybe. That was very, very, very personal to him, that he used to sing with the band. Take care of my guitar. Watch out for my babies. They're going to need it. He goes into their rooms every single night and checks on all of them. There's going to be at least one or two of them that feel him when he comes in. Even if they're asleep, they're going to know. And it's each one of them has a stuffed bunny or a stuffed something that they hug when they sleep. And when he walks in, he knows that that one feels him because it hugs it a little bit tighter, even though the child is asleep. He says he finally got the fancy cowboy hat that he really had his heart set on. So I don't know if he had a special Stetson that he couldn't afford or something. He's kind of making his rounds. He is. He's making the rounds. He's a lot of times right after we pass, it's a little slow getting things going, but he's bopped right in there. He's all over. Okay, he's like I said, I don't know how old his kids are. He's showing a guitar laying flat on the floor and a really small child, maybe even just barely crawling, or maybe this is a memory for him. Crawls up and starts playing with the strings up on the neck of the guitar. It may just be something that he's showing for me to see, or it may have happened exactly that way. Or maybe it's going to happen. Anything that you don't understand now, you'll either remember it later, you'll see it later, or somebody else will validate it for you. Sometimes they reach out to other people when they get a chance to come through. He's talking about the brand, like a branding a cow, JP, and I have seen that symbol, the JP. He's talking about it being a brand, like branding a horse or branding a cow. But I have seen that, so I'm not sure what he's. And I don't make anything up, so I'll tell you if I've seen it or not. But he can bring it through if he wants to. Oh, so are you guys making did you guys make like buttons with the JP symbol on it? Or it's almost like a leather patch with it branded into it, or like woodworking or something that he's showing. Don't be angry. He's proud of his people for not overreacting. And he puffs his chest out like he's really proud. Like he's really proud. He's puffing all out. He takes his hat off and he bows down. And then he raises his head up and looks. And he says, I bow down to you. You're stronger than I thought. And I admire you. I've always looked up to you because you have a more level head than I do. He's being overly sincere when he's saying this. I take my hat off and I bow down to you. I didn't give you the credit you deserved as my sister. I love you. And with that, I'm feeling pull him back. Watch out for my little angels. He's actually showing them with the little wings on. Not that they're angels like up there like him, but he considers them little angels. As he's walking away, he's singing, "Don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys." He's still singing it. He's still singing it as he walks away. And he's got his guitar, the strap on it, but he's got it slung over his back, so it's on his back as he walks away. He's got his cowboy hat on. Did he ever play a harmonica? He's got a harmonica in his hand. He's kind of singing and playing and tooling along. And I can see others out there, and if they don't need to come through for any certain reason, then they always show them to me like silhouettes out there, just so I can't see their faces and stuff. I just know that there's quite a few of them out there that he's walking towards. I found my path home. And he wants Patrick to know. He's showing Patrick again. Okay, with that, he's leaving. All right, my dear, Thank you for allowing me to be his voice. Wow, his energy is really strong. They usually do not come in that strong, especially this soon. That's probably the strongest one I've had in quite some time. So know that he's well. He's watching out for you. Watch for those things. If you have any questions about any of those signs or anything, if you think you get one, let me know. Hit me up in Messenger or something. Sometimes it takes me a while to answer because I am really busy. I have a lot of readings to do. But I went ahead and bumped you ahead. I just felt like today was the day. So, gotta get back to work. I've got a lot more readings to do. Much love to you, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator. You see me around somewhere, come and introduce yourself. See ya.